So currently, our little community is in an uproar about what's been going on the past couple of days regarding the third-party plugins. So, first thing that happened, I'm gonna show you. First thing that happened was a Japanese streamer got a ban for using third-party tools. I'm gonna pull this up for you. Okay. Oh. Japanese streamers receives a suspension for using add-ons. Japanese 12-14 streamer using XIV launcher just received a 10-day suspension. He's deleted all of his Twitch VODs. There's some screenshots of him being taken to GM jail. And here is the, it's Japanese article talking about everything that happened. Okay, we don't need to go through it, it's obvious. He was streaming with add-ons when Square Enix's announcement dropped. And here in the thread, it says that there were a lot of people on 5chan that were like saying, let's see if we can get the ban. But I personally, and then, so they think that there was some kind of a report brigade, and then later this suspension happened. I'm not super sure if there's a connection between those things. Like, I'm kind of doubtful on that. But that's, you know, it's part of the rumors that are being spread. So he was using party buff timers. He was using a plugin that lets you track other people's CDs, and he was using ACT. So those party buff timers is directly, like that is what Yoshi was mentioning in his Lodestone post that I read yesterday. Actually, let me pull that up too. Where he said anything that modifies the UI to provide you additional information that is going to be bannable. Okay. Let me pull it up just so we got it all in one spot. Yeah, so yesterday we talked about this. This was the thing. Modification of the UI to display additional information. Yeah. Okay. Why would anyone stream with that? Indeed. Indeed. Okay, but then the next person was... Another person got a 10-day ban. This was Bagel Goose, who you might remember from the World Race for Dragon Song. Bagel Goose got GM jailed on stream live, supposedly for ACT and plugins. So I found out he had been using ACT, buff timers, death recap, and was he also using callouts? Was he also using the raid callouts? Okay, well here's the image of him being taken to jail. Here is the clip. Hold on. So there's a clip of it happening, which I will play. Okay, if I can get the music sound on.
Go last ball.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
We're clearing right now. That's both of them. He's at the.
Okay, this speed is actually not too bad.
I can't target the other one.
Oh my god.
So here he is being taken to GM jail.
You just might be out of range where you are?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, I got GM
Press
jailed.
tab.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm clicking on pressing tab. I can't target him at all.
Oh, I think I'm gonna turn off my stream.
He got teleported out of
Wait,
Ultimate and taken into
in
GM jail.
Are you really?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, he got
What
put out.
the?
What?
He's banned. He's gone.
I think I might be gone.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
told
he's
you.
banned.
Did you hear that? So that's the part.
Oh my
Oh god.
Go last.
So that's the part that I felt was very telling in this. Is near when he's in jail, you hear his teammates say, "I told you."
I think I might be gone.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
told
he's
you.
banned.
Oh my.
He's like, I told you. So to me, I feel like that is very telling. And that, you know, you understand the risk that you take whenever you stream this kind of stuff. There is a risk that you are accepting when you decide to put this stuff on your stream in a public way. And this is a thing that I don't, it seems like a lot of people are missing this point. Here's another thing that I want to show you. So this was posted on Reddit regarding third-party tools. This is one of them. So what you're seeing here is actually, these are not ground markers that are placed there by the game. These are ground markers that are being placed there by an add-on in Ultimate to show you where to not be. Now, obviously, some of the difficulty of Ultimate is not being able to see those. This is straight up cheating. Yeah. This is straight up cheating third-party tools. So, basically, people have gotten real fast and loose with this stuff, and the problem has absolutely gotten way out of hand. There's been a lot of eyes on it with the Ultimate Race, because this is the hardest content in the game. This is the content most affected by this kind of stuff. Well, besides PvP, which I did hear a rumor that a PvPer who had been accused of win trading is no longer shown on the leaderboards. But I was not able to verify that myself. So I can only say that that is a rumor. But I have been told that apparently PvPers are noticing some action being taken in the PvP realm, which is good. I have never, regarding all this stuff that's happened, I have never seen so many bad takes in one day than I've seen today. There's just so many bad takes today. In any of these threads, you're gonna see, there's a lot of whataboutism happening, which is not helpful for anyone. Oh, but what about the farm bots? What about what about the people using the hacks in Crystalline Conflict? Well, yeah, I mean, that isn't very helpful. There's people that are saying, if you're breaking the terms of service at all, you should be banned. Which I honestly think that's a pretty poor take as well. I mean, yeah, obviously from a legal perspective, if you want to be super, super safe, then you don't have, you can't agree to a terms of service and legally break it, obviously, okay? I'm not denying that, but the fact is that in the Final Fantasy 14 community for years, we have had this ongoing, unspoken rule of don't show, don't tell. That's how it's always been. Don't show it, don't talk about it, and I really think that the reason why we're seeing so many bad takes today is because there's a lot of overgeneralization that is happening. There are people that are wanting to put everything in the same basket. There's people that want to put the mods that give you a massive advantage in PvP or in a raid in the same category as, the accessibility mods, the ping fixer mods, the chat bubble mods, and I personally do not think that you can do that. You really cannot overgeneralize. At all. And then there's people that are like, oh my god, they're banning ACT now. No, I don't think that they are. I mean, they might. I can't predict what they're gonna do. But there's a buttload of streamers that show ACT on the stream, which, by the way, there's no reason why you should need to show ACT on the stream. There's literally no reason why you need to show it. You can run it and not show it, actually. You can just do game capture and have it hidden. So there's literally no reason for you to show it besides to show everybody what good DPS you're doing and to stroke your ego. But there's a lot of streamers who are still doing that. They will continue to do that. Nothing is happening to them. So I don't think that they're just straight up banning everybody that has ACT on the screen. I do not think that they're doing it. Bagel got banned because he had not only ACT, he had the trigger callouts, he had the death recap, he had the buff timers as part of the UI. It's completely different. It is completely different. So you cannot put all these things in the same basket, and it doesn't seem like Square Enix wants to do that either. But Yoshi P was dumb enough, like, I hate to say it, but it was a really dumb thing when the last time that Square Enix addressed this issue was back in 2020. And that's a problem as well, that they have pretty much been looking the other way. They have not been enforcing the rules. There's a lot of new players on board now who probably could have used a warning that they were going to suddenly enforce the rules, right? I guess it's understood that the rules are there, don't break them, but let's be realistically, I think that considering how lax that they have been about enforcement, I do think that it's pretty shitty to suddenly change without much warning. Like, maybe before the Ultimate Race started, they could have been like, hey guys, so Ultimate Race coming up. You might want to not show plugins, not use plugins, because we're going to enforce it more strongly now. They could have done that. So I feel like some of the blame is on Square Enix for this. But getting back to what I wanted to say, Yoshi P, last time he talked about it, he was like, oh, but isn't Discord also a third-party plugin? He did say that, and I really feel like that was a pretty bad thing to say, because by saying that, it does really blur the line, and I feel like it's very disingenuous. It's a disingenuous argument that I'm hearing from a lot of people today, who act like there is no difference between a chat bubble mod and something that will give you a real competitive advantage in raiding or in PvP. And like, there is a very clear line that people have been overstepping for years in a very public way, and they've gotten more and more bold about it, to the point people have been like cheating on stream and bragging about it and saying, oh, they're not going to do anything. So obviously they had to do something, and I feel like it's disingenuous for people to overgeneralize all of the add-ons and all of the mods, because there's another thing I wanted to show you. See if I can find it. Yeah, okay, I found it. It's basically, Sphere made a tweet that I felt was based, which was surprising considering of all the terrible takes that are on Twitter today. Sphere actually had a very good point. He said, not so hot take. It sucks that the situation got to this with plugins and add-ons. Anyone using them publicly knows the risks they took. The mass reporting is very silly and should have never happened. Also, maybe now people will stop accusing us of having a private server. Elmo. Yeah, I hope so. But this is the correct take, I feel. If you're using it publicly, you understand the risks that come with that. Like, first of all, these tools are not going to go away. They're not going to go away because Square cannot find them. They have said many times they actually cannot find these tools. I do think maybe less people will stream Ultimate, but that does mean that they won't get all of the massive benefits that come from streaming Ultimate, doing World Prog, which is, it's considerable. All the likes, all the subs, all the stuff, it does have a very big real world value to people. But people are definitely not going to stop using the tools. I feel like if Square really wanted to, like, if this situation continues to get out of hand, Square Enix can track down the developers. They can find the characters of the developers. They may take legal action. Like, they might. I think that they already do know the identity of most of these creators of these tools and plugins. And these people could get tracked down. They could get their characters banned. Square Enix could send cease and desist letters to these creators, and they would be forced to stop. They could take these people to court if they chose to do that. So, personally, like, I made it very clear. I love add-ons, especially the quality of life stuff. I don't think that something that calls out where mechanics are, that shows you where mechanics are, I don't think that's fair. I do think that crosses into the realm of cheating. And I think most people do know where that line is. But if you actually care about, helpful, innocent mods, like, the accessibility stuff that some people really depend on and need, the ping fixer stuff that other people depend on and need. I feel like if you actually care about those things remaining and sticking around, then it doesn't make any sense for you to defend people who have been banned for showing plugins publicly on stream. Like, if you actually like add-ons and you want some of these tools to continue existing, like bards playing music with like the add-on that lets them play music, like that doesn't hurt anyone. If you want some of those things to continue, then you should probably not support plugins and mods being used openly and publicly on streams, because I really cannot. It will only force Square Enix to take more and more drastic action and more drastic measures. Like, I genuinely cannot think of a single good argument for why anyone should show plugins openly on stream. Because you can actually run ACT and not show it on the stream. I used to show ACT on stream myself. But then in 2020, Yoshi P gave us a talk on a live letter, and he said, please stop. We can take action at any time. We don't support this. Please stop publicly supporting it. And I said, okay. And I never showed it on stream again. I haven't, ever since that, I never did it again. But that's why I said part of the blame is on Square Enix, because they should have he hasn't talked to us about it specifically since 2020. And they said that this Japanese streamer who got a 10-day suspension, it happened when Square Enix's announcement dropped. So, like, he couldn't have even, like, read the announcement and at least had the chance to be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I should back off on it. I think it kind of sucks for them to ignore the culture that they have allowed to grow surrounding mods and plugins for years now. And now, and then suddenly, without warning, bring down the hammer, because a lot of people do not remember previous warnings that we have gotten about it. So, honestly, the only reason that I can think of why you would want streamers to keep using plugins openly is if you actually hate all add-ons and all mods of all kinds, and you want Square to take more drastic action against them all. I've been warning about this ever since 6.1 dropped. I have been screaming from the rooftops about this. I have been saying, like, I'm so worried about the whole mod community getting punished and all getting consequences from this stuff getting completely out of hand. But I know that right now, a lot of what I'm seeing is a knee-jerk reaction of act. I've heard so many people say act lately. I'm not used to calling it act. ACT is the DPS meter. That's a simple way of describing it. It does a lot more than that, but basically it just reads your combat log. That's why actually, yeah, Bagel got banned for 10 days, and one of the things that he was using was a death recap, which I personally do not think is that bad. I really don't think the death recap is that bad at all. I think it might not be such a terrible thing to have something like that in the game, because I think it's default in Elder Scrolls Online. But again, you shouldn't have to show something like that on stream. I'm pretty sure it should come in a separate window that you don't need to stream. So, yeah, it's basically ACT reads your combat log and allows you to look at it in a normal way, because who can read a combat log? Death recap should be built in, I agree. What happened? What happened to me? So, a lot of, like I wanted to say, the knee-jerk reaction I'm seeing from a lot of people who haven't thought this through is ACT good, Square banned ACT user, that's dumb, I like ACT. Why are they banning ACT? But Death Recap is a Dalima plugin. Yeah. I want to clarify. Death Recap is a Dalima plugin. It is not on ACT. Yeah, I don't want to muddle it all together like that. And Yoshi P did acknowledge in his in his message yesterday that he does agree that some of this stuff should be default in game. He does at least recognize that we intend to review the most prominent tools and enhance the functionality of the HUD so that people will not feel the need to use some of these plugins, because the fact is that UI mods exist because of a problem. And if the UI was better at displaying a lot of that information, then people would probably not turn to mods to get that information that would just be available for them in the UI. So I'm glad that he recognizes at least that. I'm glad he recognizes at least that. Yeah. The thing is, some of the stuff that people have been getting away with is straight up cheating. This is straight up cheating. And people have gotten way, way too comfortable with it. And I'll tell you what, I also do not think that having the callouts, having the CACBot callouts and triggers is, I don't think that should be acceptable. Because, and a lot of people will fight me on this because they'll say, oh, well, no, it's just like having a very reliable raid leader. And I did actually used to agree with that, but it's not. It's really not like that at all after you actually see it in action and how effective it is, how efficient it is. It's like a raid leader who gives the call out perfectly every single time. There's no human error, and it's immediate and can call out things that would normally take longer to call out. The fact that it's immediate is what makes it, I think, cross into the realm of cheating. Because the thing with mechanics, they think about how long will it take the player to work out where to go. That's part of the difficulty. That's why, if you look back in the Omega raids, there was a boss that had a mechanic called like starboard larboard, and there was a huge uproar at Square Enix because Koji Fox had named it starboard larboard instead of something like left right, because it took players longer to figure out, is starboard and larboard left or right? Is starboard left? Is larboard right? It's because of the longer time that it took players to figure that out. Koji Fox actually said he got in trouble for this because they were like, you've increased the difficulty of the encounter without asking us with this translation that you've done. So that my point is that they factor in how long it would take you to work out where to go as part of measuring the difficulty of a certain encounter. So if you have a third-party plugin that can immediately figure it out, immediately call it out to you without fail, that does cross in the realm of cheating. I do think that it does. I do think that it does. And also, I think that it's normal in an MMORPG for you to be rewarded for working together with players who are very skilled and who are good at figuring those things out and calling them out. There shouldn't be any punishment for doing that. Why should, I don't think it's fair to make that comparison either. The human error is what makes something difficult. Yeah, exactly. And I think people do know it. People are aware of when they're crossing the line, and that's why I played this clip. That is why I played this clip of Bagel getting sent to the GM, and you hear his teammates say, I told you. I told you. Meaning, I told you that this was gonna happen, and maybe you shouldn't have done it. Yet maybe don't. Maybe don't show it publicly. So, like I said, I really do not understand the people defending people that are doing it publicly, because it's completely unnecessary. The top comment on the thread FXV discussion about Japanese FXV streamer getting the 10-day ban, it said, despite using it being against the rules entirely, I'm surprised they're willing to ban people that aren't using it to harass anyone. That's always been their rule. Use it, but don't speak of it. More concerning is that people are jumping at the chance to report someone using it quietly just because. And here's what I don't understand about this comment. The comment implies that the streamer was using it quietly. But if you're streaming it, you're not using it quietly. Okay? You acknowledge that their rule was use it, but don't speak of it. Well, you might not be saying, hey everyone, there's my ACT, but you're streaming it publicly. I think that's the same as making it public when you're streaming it publicly. So I found that odd. I found this to be pretty odd take. Not long ago, like I remember a time when people were a lot more wary of using the UI plugins and add-ons on the stream, but as more popular streamers started using them, it just got a lot more popular because people saw that nothing was happening. And as this happened, people get more and more bold. People have more and more add-ons that cross into cheating territory. And it's actually destroying the game. And it's also inviting Square Enix to be harsher on all add-ons. So speaking of bad takes, Arthur's posted this tweet. It's not a bad take from Arthur's, don't worry. He said that the JPs were outraged by Hiroro's ban. Some people were saying, might as well don't play on the PC. And some were saying, don't sell FF14 on the PC at all. And they went as far as saying Discord should be banned. This is what I mean. Like, when I said at the start of the stream today that I've seen the worst takes on Twitter today, on FF14 Twitter, that I've seen in a long, long time. This is so stupid. Overgeneralizing is not helpful, and it's really dumb. It's real dumb.